Hey everyone, I have another layout update today. This time it's going to be about buildings, about structures. So I really need to start getting going on those because I'm kind of at the point where these are going to kind of depend on what scenery I do next. So this is the first one I'm building, or at least I built recently. I've got some older Rick's kits I've shown on the layout before that I built like 10 years ago that I will be using one. But for this kit, this is actually started as a Walthers Lakeville Warehouse. So this was a on sale at Walthers a couple months ago. I talked about it in one of my previous videos, and it was super cheap. It was like under 40 bucks, which is fantastic given the size of this building. It's enormous. What our measurements are, yeah, 19 by 12 is the actual measurements for the building itself. But obviously, I just wanted to use it to kitbash to build basically one of the first structures against the backdrop on my layout, which for reference will be back here on the back left side for this servicing track here. This is going to be a Velasas, which is a marketing company, but they do a lot of printing as well. And in here in Michigan, southeastern Michigan, they have a big factory that does a lot of their printing. And it's rail fed, and they have a lot of box cars sitting there, specifically some of the high cube, more modern type box cars for their paper supplies and stuff like that, which works well for what I'm modeling since it's here in Michigan. I have actually quite a few of those cars. But anyway, so what I've done is I've basically taken this kit and made it into just the backdrop building that you see here. This isn't completed, of course. I've still got to do a lot more to it, but this is just what I've got done so far. So overall, it is just over 2 feet long. It's 25 inches. And I got 2 bay doors here to service 2 cars off of that track, which is based on the layout design is what I can fit back here. So I can get 2 cars and a locomotive within this area. So it works out well size-wise and fills a lot of the backdrop in with a nice big building there, since it is just going to be a backdrop. And the more stuff I have back there, the better. So basically, I just took it and kind of just, like I said, kit bashed it. So I took all the pieces in the frame, kind of glued them together, added some bracing back there to give it some rigidity, and then glued everything down and together. Just make it one big long strip there. So at the top here, I did some kind of modifications myself. I just used some styrene, 1/4 inch by 20 thousandths, I think, and put that along the edge. Just to give it a little bit more character, because it's similar to what most steel structures you see in this area are, where they'll have some type of trim piece up there where the gutter is or whatever it is, and then the actual roof will sit above it, a little bit down so you can't see it. And the roofs in this typical buildings are either rubber roofs or a lot of times there'll be gravel up there too on top of the steel. So I've yet to decide what I'll do up there, if I'm going to paint it or possibly use some fine ballast or something on that, but I'll figure that out. So overall, I'm happy with it. It turned out pretty well. A couple little things I'm not happy with. Mainly, you can kind of still see, especially in the brickwork or the cinder block work at the bottom here, gaps between different panels. And I tried to line up the best I could. They're still not perfect, but it is what it is. And then the actual plastic for the actual corrugated steel lined up pretty well, so I was happy with that. There's still a couple little areas I'll probably fill in for that. So this lower section came as kind of this brown color. It's supposed to be like brick. I didn't like it at all though, so I painted it gray. And then I put a white wash on there to kind of outline the grout, and I was pretty happy with how that turned out, just to give it a little bit more prototypical look in terms of the buildings that I see around this area. And then for the blue, I'm undecided if I'm actually going to keep this blue or not, now that I have it up in the layout. So the building prototype is a mix of blue and white, which I was kind of happy about with that. But the problem is I already have another blue building on the layout for this structure here that I had built. So I could repaint that, I guess, or I could leave this blue. I'm not sure yet. I'm leaning toward repainting this though, possibly like a light green or yellow, just to give some more contrast on the layout. So there's only one blue building, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Because these 2 buildings of different industries would be right next to each other, which I just don't like the look of that. So we'll see there. But that's where this is at right now. So I am happy with it. I still got more work to do, obviously, as I said. But the neat thing is just with this kit, it's got so many pieces. I mean, just massive amount of pieces in here. I could probably build another 2 full structures out of everything that's just left. And for the $40 or whatever I paid for that, I mean, that's just a fantastic deal there. So, I mean, just all sorts of, spare pieces left, doors, windows, things like that. So, I won't do it on my layout just because there'll be another building that's basically identical, materials. At least like with a Rick's Products building, even though they're corrugated steel, they're different. It's different textures, it's different spacing between the corrugations and things like that. So that'll keep things different. But on this building too, I'm going to add a few more things. The prototype has, some vents up here towards the top, And it actually has some doors and windows along the side, but I chose not to do that on this building just because it is track facing. Typically you don't see that. I'm not sure why the prototype has that there, but I just chose to leave it off. But then yeah, so I want to paint it, weather it, and then get it up on the layout, and it should look pretty good. But there's a couple more pieces on here that still need to go. There's the little plates, whatever you want to call them, that tip up for actually loading the cars, and the trim pieces too. So at the end I got to paint those and weather them and get them on there. But I will be masking off, because I painted my doors and weathered them lightly already, so I'll paint those off, or mask those off before I paint the rest of this. Like I said, I'm kind of leaning toward a light green. I think that'd be kind of neat. There's some buildings in this area that I found there are kind of that color, and then obviously weather it and make it look a little bit more realistic. So that's it. Again, not a whole lot here, but I'm just having fun building some buildings, and like I said, this is kind of the first structure I've put together, and I think it will work really well for the location on the layout. So again, I'll have some more updates coming, but thank you for watching.